This is 30 posts in 30 days. Hello there, I am Catherine Lang, and we're going to be talking about how to create the content you need for your products, for your website, and even for your clients. The idea is to find a system that works for you so that you can put the system to work. Now, I am Catherine Lang. I'm a snarky rainbows purveyor of inappropriate laughter and having fun, making friends, and finding ways to be relentlessly helpful. That is some of who I am. And I put that to work in what I do. I found that once I embraced who I was and I understood my brand, it became easier to create a system that would allow me to write the words I needed to write. So you need to define your path, you need to make your plan, and you need to write the words because let's face it, you cannot get things written if you don't start with a word. It all starts with that one word. So you have to define the path for you so that you can write the words that you want to create. Now, my biggest accomplishment was a few years back when I wrote over 1,000,000 words in 1 year. And those were my personal words. I also was a full-time content creator for clients. And the words that I wrote for them, I didn't even add to this number. These were just my words, the words I wrote for my website, my ebooks, and novels and nonfiction books. I know, yeah, I know that's a lot of words. I didn't realize it was a lot of words until I got to the end of the year and I tallied it up because I wrote all of these words one word at a time. And I wasn't even aiming for 1,000,000 words. What I was trying to do is be consistent in writing words every single day. For those who have ever participated in National Novel Writing Month in November, the goal is to write around 1,700 words a day and to write your novel in 1 month. And I thought, if I can do that for 1 month, surely I can write 1,000 words a day. So I set out to write just 1,000 words a day, every single day. And that got me to a place where I wrote over 1,000,000 words in a year. You have to find the path that works for you. You can't do it the way I did. You can take what I did and then manipulate it to a way that will work for you, but you're not me. And I'm not you. And really, let's be honest, that's a good thing. We're each unique and we're each finding our way. And this is going to work not just with you in particular, but with each of the clients that you work with. You can have an idea of how you're going to create the content, but each client is going to be different, just like each person is different. The needs are going to be different, or the subject matter, or the amount of research that's required. It's all going to be different. So you have this idea, this pattern, and then you apply it in a way that works for each person. So you first have to start out by defining your voice, defining your brand, knowing who you are and what you are and why you are. So one of the things you can do is ask others what they notice about you or they notice about your brand. Or you can think about how you stand out in the crowd, or write out words that other people use to describe you. I started this process many years ago, and often I wasn't even conscious that I was doing it. I would be writing in my journal, and I would write out a comment someone made about me or about my husband or about our family. And I began to accumulate all this information, and I used it to navigate the brand understanding of who I was. And it took a process. It's always a process, but I had to go from understanding that I am unique and helping others find their uniqueness to allowing someone to shove me in a box, which is not a fun place to be, to breaking out of the box and recognizing that being a snarky rainbow is unique, and it's okay for me to be a snarky rainbow as long as I'm doing it from a place of love. And that's what I try to do. I try to share encouragement with that little twist of snarky rainbows. And that became my brand focus and changed everything. So when you take the time to define your voice and understand your brand, that's going to create the catalyst that you need to lay out these words as we move forward. So here's another thing that you want to think about. Why are you writing for the ebook? Why are you writing the content? Why are you creating the words? What drives you? What are you passionate about? What is the mission of the brand, your business? What is the vision that you've set forth for the business? What is the goals and objectives of the business? And most importantly, what is your target audience seeking? It's not just about defining your brand, it's about understanding why you're even going through the process of creating the words. If you're just doing it because they told you to, that's getting into that box that I mentioned. That's never a good place to be, because you're not designed to live in a box. You're designed to be uniquely you. And understanding what that uniqueness is allows you to be free to create the words that you need to create, and to create them in a way that works specifically for you and for your target audience. So once you know, you define your voice and you know why you're writing, then you can begin to map out what you're going to write. You can understand what topics you want to tackle. You can think about and research the keywords that align with, again, with your vision and your mission and the needs of your target audience. And really hone in on what it is that your readers want, what it is that your clients want, what it is that your target market wants, because you can write the words for you, and that's perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. But if you're trying to touch other people and you're trying to expand your platform and your marketplace, then you really need to be honed in on what it is that they want and what they need. They being your target market, not the ones trying to shove you into the box. We're not going to listen to those days. These days are the target market days. And when you listen to your target market and you watch what it is your target market wants, then you can begin to lay out your content. Now, think about these as your categories or your tags. Use those as kind of a guideline. And one way you can do it is to write all those words from your categories, from your tags, your keywords. Write them on a index card, and one word per card. Then you can sort those cards into 7 different line items. And the reason we're going to do 7 is because when you really start building your content calendar, having those 7 sections will give you some focus. So remember always, content is king. If you have been on the internet for more than a minute, you know that content is king. And content can consist of words, blog posts, vlogs, video blogs, social media snippets. So content is king, but consistency is queen. and without the two working together, you're going to hit some roadblocks. Consistency is the existence of a regular schedule, whether it's daily, twice daily, weekly, monthly. The key is that you're being consistent. So if you don't think you can be consistent writing content daily, if you don't think you're going to be able to do 30 days every month, then start out right now by writing 1 blog post a month, and use these 30 days that you're creating these 30 posts, spread them out and schedule them out over the next 30 weeks. Creating an editorial or a content calendar will help you with this process. You You define it. It's up to you. This is just one of the schedules that I have used over the years. The key is that it it worked for me then. The schedule that I have now is way more simplified. It's over here marked out by day, and it's really only the category that I'm going to cover on that day. And I use those as a template. Okay, today I'm writing about focus. Tomorrow I'm writing about books on one website and relationships on the other. It's just a way to harness your word energy and keep it focused. So I'm going to go back. This is the content calendar that I used to have. And you'll see that there were, it marks out all my different websites that I had and the content that I was going to create for each day, the topic or the focus that I was going to have for that content. And I also have on there my schedule for social media, how I wanted it to play out. Now, the reason I said this is my old one is because I have since invested in a content management system. I personally use CoSchedule, and it allows me to work within WordPress and schedule all my social media content, which is wonderful for me. It's one less thing I have to worry about. The only thing I do have to do is I get a notice on my phone when the post for Instagram is ready to go live, and I have to go in through Instagram and actually schedule the post there. But other than that, that's how I do that now. So these are some of the templates I create. And the reason I like to do templates is when I am struggling to get the words flowing. And look, when you're creating this many words, there are going to be moments when you think, I can't write another word. I have no idea what to write about. When you run into those situations, then just write about the fact that you can't write. And sometimes it'll lead into a way to break down and create the content that you're searching for. But these content templates help me to know not only what I want to write about, but how to formulate the words in a way that's going to keep the flow interesting. When someone comes to your website for the first time and they just see a bunch of words all down your page, it's hard for them to read. It's hard for them to stay focused. If it's broken up by the different tweets or images or bullet points, quotes, all these different things will help to make the words flow better and look better and more enticing to the reader. A bonus is that as you're creating the images and the headers, you can add your keywords into those, and that will also help you with your SEO and with your search engine, which is always good, right? So, when you are trying to create 30 posts in 30 days, when you are looking to develop a consistent plan for your content, you have to make the commitment. You're the only person that can do it. It doesn't matter how much other people want you to do it. If you don't sit down and do it, if you don't make the commitment to do it, it will not get done. So you have to make the commitment. And the best way to do that is to write it out, keep a record, meditate on it, share it with others, and meet with others. Find accountability partners. If you don't have an accountability partner, holler at me, and I'll check in with you and make sure that you're getting the words written. One of the reasons people are so successful with National Novel Writing Month is because we check in with others on a regular basis. The year that I wrote 1 million words in 1 year, I was in a group that met at least once a week and shared how many words we had been writing each week. And when I had to put a big 0 on a day, I knew they'd see it. And so it kept me accountable. I was going to write something so I could put a number into that day. The accountability will matter. So you write down your goals, and then you follow that up with the record of keeping up with those goals. and you continually think about it and talk about it with others, and that keeps you on track. Writing a million words in a year sounds like that's all I did. It's all the time. All my time went there. But right now is probably the best opportunity you have to realize how much time that you have. No matter who you are, what you're doing, you have 24 hours in the day. Some of that's needed for rest and relaxation and for recharging, refueling, all of those things. But you have a lot of time that is not invested in a way that moves you closer to where you want to be. When you think about investing time, how are you investing time? It kind of changes your mindset. And what's interesting to note is that time is the only resource that you have that you cannot make more of. Once you spend your time, it's gone. So you need to be acutely aware of how you are investing your time. So make sure you do a time audit. Keep a record of how you're spending your time every single day for the next week. Then plot it out on this pie chart and really look at and measure how you're spending your time. When you know how you're spending your time, then you can begin to make the adjustments so you're in a position to create these 30 posts in 30 days. More importantly, you're in a position to create the consistency to keep creating the words. You're not locked into okay, I'm just going to do this for 30 days, although you can, because remember, if you schedule it out, one post a week, you're almost in, that's 30 weeks. You get that that's almost 3/4 of the year. I mean, there's only 52 weeks in the year. So if you did this twice, you'd have over a year's worth of content scheduled out. And that relieves a lot of the pressure to create, to pull you away from other things that you need to be doing. So when you think about it like that and harness your time, then you're positioned to move forward. Keep in mind that you need to be practicing focused flexibility. And what this means is simply that you're focused on where you want to go. That goal, that target is you're very honed into it, but you're okay with being flexible in how you get there. It's kind of like taking a journey to the beach or to the restaurant, and you have your path plotted out, but there's a detour. Now, focused flexibility means you take the detour and you still get to where you want to go. A mindset that's not flexible in how you get to the destination would turn around and go home because you can't get there the way you planned. So be focused on where you want to go, but be flexible in the going. Now, you have to write the words. No matter whether you're doing a short post for your social media or you're doing a long form content for your website, the only way the words will ever get written is if you write them. So here are some quick little things that you can do that are going to help you write the words. Have a word sprint, either with yourself or with someone else. And what you do during a word sprint is you take a digital timer or use your phone if you prefer, and you set this timer for 15 minutes. And this is one of the digital timers that I have. See, here we go. This one's set for 30 minutes. I have them all over the house. And you set the digital timer and you write for that 15 minutes. You don't edit, you don't worry about punctuation, you don't do anything, you just write. Just let the words flow. And when you get to the end of that 15 minutes, you see how many words you've written. The fun thing is to get other people involved and have a competition and see who can write the most words in those 15 minutes. And you can do this online or when it is allowed or when it's the opportunity presents itself. You can have gatherings, word gatherings, and work together to create this the words that you need. You can also do word wars. These are a little bit longer, but it's the exact same concept. Instead of sprinting, you're going to take it longer term. So an hour is the best war, and you literally just write for the whole hour, and you see again how many words you have written at the end of the time. So in order to prepare for these word sprints and these word wars, and to write down the word count that we have, I prefer a count challenge. I'm challenged to write the 1700 words in a day, and that's my preferred area. But whatever works for you, because again, this is for you. The key is to know that it's about bite-sized. It's about little bits. It's the little bits that add up to make the difference. So you do a 15-minute word sprint, and I'm going to tell you the truth. It was the word sprints that got me to the million words, because I was doing word sprints at the top of every hour, or let's be honest, it wasn't every hour. I was homeschooling 3 boys at the time. So really what I was doing is at the top of the hour, that was my goal, is to sprint for 15 minutes. And usually I got in at least 1 or 2 word sprints every day. Sometimes I got in more, but my goal was at the top of every hour I would word sprint. And that's how I built up over a million words a day. So you have to find what works for you, and you have to do it. So make your plan. What are you going to do each day working on your little bits? I don't like to work on the same thing every day. I am all about changing things up and doing things differently. So one of the reasons my templates are different each day is so that I don't have to do the exact same thing every day. On Mondays, I like to work on the social share, the blurbs that I'm doing, the call to actions. On Tuesdays, the posts. Wednesdays, images. You get the idea. The whole idea is to break it up so it's not a monotonous situation. You make it more interesting. Now, if you prefer to do a blog post and all its accessories on the same day, go to it. If that works for you, that works for you. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to have to start writing. You need to write 1 word a day, 1 sentence a day, 1 paragraph a day, 1 page a day. Whatever your one is, it has to be that you are writing the one. So, how are you going to write your ones? How are you going to get there? This is my idea folder right here. And it's a recipe box that my husband's mother left me. But I don't use recipes. I consider recipes a starting point for whatever I'm fixing, so I don't actually use the recipes. So instead of just having this box, I've put it to work as my idea box. And I have a category for each of my websites. And a section for each of my websites. A section for the quotes of the day that I'm going to do. A section for each category on my blog. And I brainstorm either with me or by myself or with other people. And this is a really fun way we hosted with the Rocket City bloggers several different times what we called blog-ins. And we would all gather together and we would come up with ideas that could stimulate our creative juices and help us produce the content that we need. So every idea is written on an index card, blank index card, and I put the title up here, right? Then either a paragraph or bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 to 7 ideas for each blog post. And I see how many I can come up with in a given time. So when I sit down to write these 30 posts in 30 days, I am not starting from scratch. I have a pool of resources that are going to help me get the words created. The more resources available, the quicker it's going to go. So if I have a title that tells me this is what I'm going to write about, I can knock it out pretty fast. If I have just a title, then I have to figure out what I was thinking about when I was doing that. So it's good to put points with your titles and not just your titles. But hey, start with just the titles. And if you want to have a lot of fun, you can go to the CoSchedule headline or analyzer tool, and it will help you determine if the headlines that you're coming up with, the titles that you're coming up with, will be good social search engine optimized. And what I like to do when I first found this tool is I introduced it to my family, because when you raise competitive kids, it's a good way to get them to help you without them knowing they're helping you. And we would have a contest to see who could score the best on their headline. And this helped me come up with probably 100 different titles that were analyzed by CoSchedule to be very strong and for search engines. But the idea is that you're again creating this reservoir that's easy to access and easy to carry around with you so that you can utilize it. If you want to do it on your computer in a file, that's totally up to you. I'm old school. I love pencil on paper. It's just, to me, there's nothing that feels better or sounds better than pencil on paper. So, in conclusion to all of this, you can create 30 posts in 30 days without hurting yourself if you define your why, your voice, and what it is you want to write. If you create a schedule and a calendar that works for you, if you recognize the time and how you're investing the time, and you make a commitment to utilize it in a way that works for you, and if you release the clutter and you release the obligations to do things that aren't moving you towards where you want to go. And we didn't even talk about that today, about the power of no. But you have it in you to say no to things that aren't getting you to where you want to go. And that goes for your brand, your business, and your life. And the more you practice no, the easier it becomes. And the more you utilize no, the more you clear the clutter that will hold you back from doing what you need to do. So you can, if you will. It is totally up to you. I am Catherine Lang, and here are some ways that you can get in touch with me. And if you have any questions, you can either, holler at me through Facebook or Twitter. Those are two of the quickest ways to get in touch with me. Or you can email me at catherinelang@catherinelang.com. I hope to see you over at Snarky Rainbows. Join me, and let's have fun, make friends, and find ways to be relentlessly helpful. Thank you very much.